What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the channel. Joe, how the devil are you, sir?
I'm doing good, mate. The sea is about to change at Leeds United. We're about to get some signings in the door, finally, as the Rock would say. And yeah, we're back. So I'm happy, mate. I'm happy. And football tomorrow, Chelsea Luton. So yeah, I just enjoy watching the footy, pal. So I'm good. Hope you are too, pal.
I'm very good, man. Love talking football, and someone else who does is LB, who is back on the show. LB, what you saying, bruv?
Yeah, I was just saying, man. Joe's been making me sad recently, man. You know what I mean? I like Joe and that, and it's been down these last couple of weeks, man. The guy's been down. I've been going on his streams, and yeah, I need happy Joe back, man. So if he's saying that Leeds are about to turn up and turn their season around after 3 games, no wins, and that's great news, man. That's great news.
Bro, man. It has been a depressing time. I can't lie.
It's been a depressing time, man. It's what's funny as well. That's like how shit can rub off on people. Like, I'm not even a Leeds fan, and I come in your stream sometimes, and I just be like, oh shit, yeah, it's bleak, it's bleak in Leeds. I don't even know what's going on, man.
I was watching your watch along the other night because you were Friday night, weren't you, against West Brom?
Yeah,
I was
West
watching
Brom, yeah.
some of your watch along because I was busy, but I had some bits going on. I looked on YouTube, literally sat down. I thought, Joe's on, yeah, Leeds are on, aren't they? And it's like, oh no, he's not going to be happy here, 1-0. And then I was mucking around, see you'd scored. I'm like, oh, let's get the watch along and see if he's happier now. And it's mad, isn't it? Like I'm sitting there thinking, I don't even like care for Leeds too much. Like I would like to see you come back up, but I'm sitting there watching their watch along. Mad. Listen, it's football. We all love football. So let's talk football. Before we do go into the Premier League stuff, we're going for Kaz. Kaz is going to join us. He's a little bit late. He's just doing some bits and bobs, and then he'll be with us. Joe, fill us in, man, because Leeds have started. They've got a couple of signings on the go.
Yeah.
What's happening? Why are you so positive now, man? Fill people in.
Well, the big one, obviously, Sinisterra and Willie Gnonto staying now. So that's good. I think the club have played a blinder in keeping Willie Gnonto. He's gone in on Monday, Farker was saying in the presser, and apologised to him, and he's been given a second chance. Like the manager, I know it's all talk and that, but the manager said in the press conference was like, no one can take the mick out of this football club and all that. And as a fan, obviously, it gets you going, doesn't it, when he's talking like that? So, Gnonto, Cini, we're signing Joel Pirro, who scored goals for fun in the Championship, 42 in 2 seasons for Swansea, 12 million for him. And we're just signing a guy called Amiri as well, who's got caps for Germany from Bayer Leverkusen, a 10, and we need a 10. So I think, like, I know this is Premier League, but you got Pirro at the top, Amiri in the 10, then Cini, Gnonto, Somerville on either wing. I think we're about to start to get some wins. It probably won't be on Saturday against Ipswich, but when the transfer window closes and we've got an international break, 2 weeks, and then bam, I think we'll start to smoke the league.
I hope you do, man. I really hope you do.
Cheers,
and
man.
Of course, I want Leeds up because
I need to get on that Chase for Europe show. Give me like 3 seasons and I'll be there, okay?
Yeah,
Three seasons, man. I thought you'd be there less than that, Joe. You know what I'm saying? Big up, Kaz. Kaz, what you telling me?
I'm happy, man. I'm seeing Mo Salah like agree in personal terms. Liverpool in the mud.
Well, let's talk.
Bomba, you know, he doesn't think that a move will materialize. I don't think a move will materialize, but he's gone next year. Liverpool fans know it's the end for a long time, anyways. Yeah.
Well, literally, like a minute ago, David Ornstein has literally just tweeted out that Al Ittihad have a concrete interest in signing Mo Salah from Liverpool, and the Saudi Pro League club have made a renewed attempt to recruit the 31-year-old Egypt international forward, and it's unclear at this stage if a move will materialise, as Kaz has just said. They really want him at LB. Do you see any movement in this, or are Liverpool just going to go, no, thank you, laters?
I mean, they probably should say no, thank you, laters. You know what I mean? But will Salah? Look, Salah's got 2 years left on his deal, right? The guy is not going to be playing Champions League football until minimum he's 32 if he stays at Liverpool, right? I bet there's a little bit in his head where he's just like, fuck this off, man. You know what I mean? Let's go get the bag at Al Ittihad. But Liverpool, man, I don't think Liverpool can afford to let him go, man. No. I really don't think they can let him go.
I don't see this one happening, Kaz.
He'll be the main man over there. He's a Muslim. He can stop celebrating Christmas and getting backlash. He'll be the most paid player. He will tear it up. He'll be good on his body. I'm sure his wife will love it. His kids will love it. I implore him to go. I implore him to go. I think it's the correct move in his career. Go earn your money, man. Generational wealth. Why would you want to stay in Liverpool? He's a shithole anyways. So all I'm trying to say is, Mo Salah, you do the right thing. Get your 100 million fee and just go. Go for it.
Would this be like the worst transfer window in history of any club if this happens?
Liverpool.
Not just Liverpool.
Oh.
I mean, wow. Could you imagine? I mean, I don't see this happening, by the way, but my goodness.
I think this would top the Andy Carroll, Stuart Downing window, wouldn't it? Really, on reflection. I think it'd be a bad one. I don't see it happening though. If I'm being realistic, I think.
That's why, Joe? Why don't you see it happening?
The club will deny it anyways because they won't find a good enough replacement. How do you?
They can't afford to. But the fact he's only got 2 years, bro. He can wait out for that. He can wait out.
Liverpool
for that.
block it, man. Liverpool say, I don't care. Give us 600 million. Otherwise, he's staying. That's what Liverpool do.
Imagine having to listen to Klopp every week. I'll be annoyed as well.
Do you know what is a mad one on the Saudi thing? And I don't know. I just get your thoughts. I was a little bit disappointed to see this young kid from is it Sevilla or somewhere in Spain going like elite? Yeah, Celta Vigo. I was a bit like, oh come on.
Yeah, that's a mad one for me.
It's the bad though, bro. Like it's. I said this at the start, man. The Saudis ain't messing around. They ain't no China. No. Yeah, they want that league to be a proper league, and that's what they're gonna do.
If you're young, the best part about it is go earn your money while you're young, and then come back and prove yourself a little bit, because the money won't really be a factor for you no more.
Truth.
Yeah, true.
It might
do like a couple of years in it as well, and then he's minted for life in it. And then like you say,
Joe, Gabby Vega, he had a good season last year, but that was his breakout year. Like Cassie's saying, like if he could have gone to Napoli, right, and he could have just flopped and then just turned into a no one, and then Saudi Arabia don't want him. Cassie's right. Go Saudi Arabia for 2-3 years, whatever, earn generational wealth, and then if you want to come back, he'll come back when he's 24. He'll still be growing, he'll still be in a development phase. Like I've said from the start, I ain't got a problem with anyone going there. I think if you're like a little bit, like Laporte, I know we might get onto that later, but like he's 29, but like no one else wanted him. But if you're either really, really young or coming to the end of your career, I have no problem with you going there. Like it is what it is, man. I don't see why people are crying about it.
Do you know what? It's mad because I was speaking to Robbie the other day, and we were literally just about to go on a stream, and I said to him, "Oh, what do you make of this Saudi thing?" And he's like, I think it could be a big problem, man, in the next couple of years. Like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's not going to affect it. England will still be massive, blah blah blah, and Europe will still be massive." He's like, "You imagine in a couple of years' time, they're speaking. They all know each other. Footballers are close, right? They all know each other well. How is it going over there? Oh, mate, get over it now. It's unreal. XYZ's happening." People are some people are going to go, "Look, it ain't for me. I'm sure you have a great time. I want to play in Europe. I want to play Champions League football." There's going to be a lot of people that are going to go, "Get me over there, man. I'm sick and tired of playing at Anfield or like in the rain. I'm sick and tired now. I've won everything at City. I've won everything at United. Get me over there, man. I don't want to be in Manchester. I don't want to be in London anymore." I think we can see this in a couple of years, man. No joke.
I think this is healthy for football. There's enough talent in the world to get nurtured, meaning you have to look more towards your academy as well. See what's coming through. You know, if they want such young ballers coming through, they're going to look towards the Europe's academy. Look at Tate. I know he's not Octavio that went over there, anyways. Like Porto's in mad debt. They just had a massive blunder off of their debt now. You know, I think England doesn't need to worry. We have so much money. We have nothing to complain about. When I'm seeing Bournemouth affording more players than AC Milan themselves and all this stuff. We got no issue. If we want Europe to be competitive again, your France and everything, we need players to go over there, and we need their funds to go into Europe. So that means that team can go and improve, like RC Lens and stuff like that. Isn't Fofana going somewhere potentially over there? And now they got a bucket. Now they can use that money for Europe itself. I think it's actually quite healthy, personally.
Just on that though, just to back up Cassa's point, Leeds United have beat Marseille to this Amiri guy because they couldn't afford the 6 to 8 million euros that Leeds United have put on the table, and we're in the Championship, which is mad, isn't it? You know what I mean? He wanted the Marseille move. We were told this morning, it's off, and then they haven't been able to agree a fee, so Leeds United are picking him up. But that's mad. That is mad that a team in Ligue 1 is getting gazumped by by Leeds United in the Championship.
These days, Championship is actually good quality these days, and I know that's where Leeds belong, and that's where they're going to stay.
Okay.
But all I'm going to say is,
you had to go there, didn't you? Are you still getting third, Cass? Because from what I've seen, it ain't happening, mate.
Anyways, look, we'll see about that. One, like I said, yeah, one transfer can change the whole dynamics. Look, Mason Mount's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Bad on him, it's his injury, but guess what? You're still getting paid what you get paid per week. You're not going to cry. You're going to move on. We're going to win. All right.
Blessing, mate. Mason Mount out is a blessing.
So all I'm going to say is like Leeds are where they belong. Big up Ipswich Town. What's Ipswich?
I've just been speaking about Ipswich top of the
What
league, man.
they called the Blues, the Tractor Boys, or something like that. Big up the Tractor Boys.
Yeah.
Because of Kieran McKenna, I'm going to get myself an Ipswich Town shirt. I don't want to be supporting them. And Middlesbrough. Big up Borough as well. Love them Stockton people and all that. Love it.
I used to live there, bro. It's fucking
Middlesbrough and Ipswich, man. There's this Carrick and McKenna vibes. Listen, we want to talk about this thing called Premier League, not Saudi or Championship. And I'm looking at what Man City are doing, LB, and I'm liking it. I texted you earlier. Excuse me. Obviously, you're linked now with Mateus Nunes. Looks like Jeremy Doku is in the door. Laporte's gone, which I don't think is a massive surprise, but you obviously replaced him anyway, really, with Guardiola. Replaced Gundogan with Kovacic. I think you're done, man. You've pretty much replaced everybody now, haven't you? You've got to be happy with that side now from a couple of weeks ago, surely.
Yeah, man. Business looks all right. You know, we've done some good business. Guardiola in, Laporte out. That was always going to happen. Doku looks very exciting, man. I watched the game last weekend, and he was very, very good. Looks like a different style of player to what we currently have. Nunes is an interesting one because he's probably, in my opinion, he's good. I think he's going to replace Phillips, man. I think Phillips is gone.
Oh my! See, LB. This is what I'm saying, man. This is why I like streaming with this guy sometimes. Just only sometimes. Got a brain, unlike some other blues, you know. Daps. Good thinking.
Yeah, I think Phillips is gone, man. I do. I think this is. I think if we would have got Eze, then I think we would have kept Phillips. But I think Nunes is a more of a defensive, deeper lying player, yeah, than Eze. And Phillips ain't working at City, so I think Phillips will leave. We heard last week.
Where's he going, Phillips? Where's he going?
Liverpool.
Do you think he'll go Liverpool?
There's no links. Yeah, I heard this Liverpool.
I said this on Cassa's channel last week with the Monts and
are they going to do that? Are they going to do that though?
Apparently they've inquired for Cheikh Doucouré though, so it might not. I think it might be just an addition as well. It could be just an addition. You needed a centre mid. I'm telling you now, Mateus Nunes is wicked, and just because he plays a lot of the time, I've seen a couple. Now I thought I'd type his name in on Twitter and see what meltdown's going to happen this time. This man is going to change the whole outlook of your team. He is so good, and he's not a goal scorer, but guess what? He's going to dominate the midfield.
Yeah, you know what he's going to do as well? He's going to allow us to rest Rodri from now and again. I checked Rodri's stats, yeah. In the last 2 seasons, he's played like 110 matches, like 4 matches in 2 years. I've said before, yeah, he is our best player in that team in terms of keeping that team, because we've won the league before without Kevin De Bruyne. You know what I mean? We've scored goals without Haaland. You take Rodri out of that team, our team becomes not an average side, but it becomes nowhere near as dominant as it was last year. And at the moment, we have no cover. Kovacic can probably do it, but can he do it week in, week out playing in that 6th position? I don't know, because I've never seen him play there consistently. We needed a replacement, and as Cass says, I think Nunes could be that guy. He's so quick. That's the main thing that's let Phillips down. It's just not quick enough.
It'll be Nunes.
Proves how little I know about this player, because I thought Nunes was more of a De Bruyne type midfielder. I didn't know he was a whole.
You got to check his goals, bro. He doesn't score.
So him and Paulinho were a part of that, and Bruno and Septra, they were part of that sporting team. You know, and I think Bruno left, and Nunes was just up and coming as a youngster at the time as well. But again, you got Paulinho made his move the same time as he did. That sporting team was so good to watch football with, and I wanted him at Man United. And I think Pep even played against Sporting and pointed at him and said, I think it was when you batted them like final, said, "You're a great player.
Yeah,
like you're a fantastic player," because he was running shop, but they couldn't win the game, unfortunately. I just feel like with him, he can definitely do a DM job like Gundogan did. He done a DM job, right? And you can still have a cover in front of you, and you can still have a Phil Foden in front of you. It can definitely work. I think
Yeah, what I was saying as well, Katz, is that at the moment we don't really need a 6 like a Fernandinho anymore. Like we're like, not to be funny, but we're so good at like dominating the ball.
You need Stones to come and act as a pivot at times
Exactly.
as well. People forget
Like,
that.
we don't really need that sort of destroyer in the midfield at the moment. We just need a player who can get the ball and transition the ball up the pitch, and that's what Nunes is so good for. And Cass is right. I seen the quote going around this morning when we played Sporting Lisbon, I think 2 years ago. Pep said after the game that like he's one of the best players in that position, and of course now City are going in for him. So look, it's exciting. It's nice, good signing, man.
It's weird. It's weird, man, because when you went in for Paqueta, I was like, they're trying to replace De Bruyne. Then when you gone in for this Nunez, I was like, they've obviously replaced De Bruyne. But you're telling me that he's not a De Bruyne replacement. He's more of a deep lying player. So
I think
that's strange for me. I thought you were.
Foden's the De Bruyne.
So you're going to keep Bernardo and Katie and the Foden that play in the De Bruyne one. I'm okay with you. That makes sense.
I think Cole Palmer stays as well. I think Doku will be shifted to the left and used as a backup to Grealish more time, and also can play on the right because Pep likes multi-front. And Cole Palmer, especially him now with that Lino guy as well for the next couple of weeks while Pep's recovering in it and all that kind of stuff with his back. It's unfortunate. Obviously, if anyone's a back fracture, I mean, it's not nice. But Cole Palmer is going to stay there, and I think he's going to trust that and let them develop like that. Got Bernardo Silva on the extra year release clause. He's probably going to go next year. I think everyone knows that, but who cares? You got Bernardo for another year, right? And then now your Foden's in the. That means I think this solidifies Foden staying as the middle. He's going to be trusted there. You got Mateus Nunes, Kovacic. I actually think you might go in for one more. I
was saying this morning, Kaz, do you think we could get Eze and Nunes? Because we was in for Bellingham, and that would have been 120. Rice was 105. If you add Eze and Nunes, it comes to about 120. Like, it's not out the realms of possibility that we could.
What's Eze then? What's Eze going to cost?
They reckon something like 70 to 80 million.
Mate, if you get him, everyone just needs to give up, bro. Like, honestly, if you get him as well, like, what the hell are we supposed to do to compete with that? That's just mad. You could get him. Yeah, you could
That's a good point. That is a good point, though.
I will come to that. Don't trust me. We'll come to that. There's a reason I started with you, LB, because of City. I just think you said on the show on Tuesday night that you thought you were going to run away with it, and you thought it could be quite easy for you this year. And I wanted to ask the other boys if they think that. Let's start with Joe. You're in a good. I say you're in a good position, Joe. You think you're in a bad position. You're in a good position for my question because you're sitting back. You're worried about other problems. You get to look at our 3 teams. You get to look at the Premier League teams. Has LB got a point? Do you see City running away with it this year? Or do you see any of the others getting close to him, mate?
You say look at these 3 teams. One's definitely not getting involved. Let's be honest, right? And that's,
everyone else. Then I should say everyone else.
Yeah. That's Norwich City FC. They're all green and gold. But outside of that, it's only yourselves, isn't it, mate? It's only yourselves, really. But I think the worrying thing from a rival's perspective is the fact that City have started really well. So if they continue in this vein, they're not going to need to be in a position to chase down. You know what I mean? They're already going to be in front, and we've already seen. I mean, maybe that might have an adverse effect. You know what I mean? Them being the hunted as opposed to the hunter, but I can't see it. I think the thing is, as well, as the lads were saying, like whoever Pep was going to bring in, there's no worry. There's no worry. I don't think we look at any signing that comes through Pep and scratch our heads and go, I don't get that one.
He's going to change up for me. I think he's going to change the tactic up a little bit if he gets Eze and controlled chaos. You know what I think this might mean? I think even though the Stones, sometimes you take out Stones gets injured quite a lot in it, and he's inevitable, and he likes to move into that centre position. That's a new, but it's when you take out Stones, I feel like City sometimes lose a little bit of that element of, I don't know, someone to drive properly, and I think Kovacic adds that. I think Mateus Nunes is better because you can't rely on a Kovacic, so you need a kind of a backup to it. What I can kind of see is the 4-4-2 that they defended. I can see Mateus Nunes slotting into right back at times if John Stones is out. This is on the if. But then you got your Vardio, then you've got your Diaz, and then you might even have your Akanji at times and stuff. But I can see Nunes slotting in next to Rodri, right? And I can see if they do get an Eze and Foden in front of them, and what that does. That ensures you're 5 at the back anyway, so you don't get countered quickly. And obviously, Nunes is quick at covering a lot of space in very short time. Go watch how quick this man is, and you see how much ground he actually covers. And then that leaves like an Eze, Foden, Grealish, Bernardo, or maybe sometimes a Cole Palmer or whoever, or Doku even, and then Haaland to go and do, or Alvarez, do what you do best. You got two very creative guys. You got a shadow striker in there, which I think it allows a little bit of freedom for a little bit of stress relief on Foden's play to sometimes drive into the box, and that's why I feel like that would be Eze's job. But that's only if they get an Eze job. I mean Eze, sorry. And I think Eze would be a perfect fit for them because we always talk about. I think we said about last week. Where's the goals going to come from City? I think Eze, he got 10 last year. And what does he do in a better team where he's probably more suited to a lot of these guys? He's not playing with bums no more, like Schlupp. You know, he's going to play with the best, and I think he would thrive off that.
I think he's class, man. And I think if you was, I didn't even think about you getting another one. If you got Eze as well, then everyone needs to just do their best, but they ain't gonna get close, man. Listen, let's come to teams around Manchester City. Kaz, let's start with you. We won't come to Arsenal. We'll come United first because everyone's laughing at United. They're in the mud. They're playing terrible. Midfield's awful. Defensively, a shambles. No striker. Højlund apparently out for a bit longer than they've said now as well.
No,
I was listening to Saeed earlier, and he was having a bit of a meltdown about it. What's going on at your club, man? It sounds like a shambles. Oh, and Johnny Evans has signed officially now, apparently. So well done on that one.
I love to see it. That means Maguire's fifth. That definitely means Maguire's fifth choice. So that means we can get a replacement next year. Because if Maguire left, we're looking at Pavard, and I couldn't believe. I'm so glad he's going to Inter Milan. So rubbish that off. Direction of the club stinks at this moment of time, but I also saw the thing is I don't listen to Samuel Luckhurst. Only Samuel Luckhurst said he could be out. He didn't say he is out. He could face until after the break, and there was obviously questions along the side of if he's going to be fit enough to play for Arsenal, and stuff like that. And I think like you just made a prediction. It's not really reporting. It's just making journal clickbait for Man United because it's going to get you the most clicks. Because Man United, even the news stinks of crap anyways. But then I look at people I do look towards, like Mullock and Neil Custis from The Sun and everything, who actually do report on Man United the way they do, and they're more or less correct. He said that he could be on the bench for Nottingham Forest. So which one do you want to go about? I don't really want to create a divide within Man United's fan base by saying what I want to say and what I think. Only make up your own minds about it. Whether he's on the bench or not, you should be finishing off this game regardless. Mason Mount out should, spark something for Erik Ten Hag, and it gives Erik Ten Hag the best excuse to change things up as well. So I think it's a blessing in disguise that way to go show that this thing that you was working on in preseason doesn't work. You haven't got the players for it or the tools, so keep going and do what you did before. Just improve it a slight touch. I think Marcel being back, being more fit can help the team for what it is. Nottingham Forest are whipping boys. We go beat them 3-0 minimum all the time. 4 times last year, slapped them away from home, at home. Should be I'm not going to say Nottingham Forest are going to come and we're going to roll them over, but we need a convincing performance on top of a win. I don't think the defense is actually that bad. I just think there's not enough cover. I think there's too much space between the defense and midfield. And if we play the way we did against Tottenham in the first half, there's nothing to really worry about. It's easy to judge it. Last season, we saw it too. We was in the mud. We said exactly the same things. Things changed. That's what I like about my manager. He's not going to stick with that same crap that don't work over and over to shoehorn a player in, like your manager, Arteta, with Kai Havertz playing his free at the back stuff and trying to copy Pep because he ain't got his own tactics. So that's the way I look at it. And I think we'll take
the 6 points for now, though, Kaz. We'll look down at you.
People are overreacting on Man United. They're going to look at Burnley. Oh, you lost 3-0. Yeah, but they were playing Pellistri and Maguire and all that crap. Who cares? Who cares? People didn't even know that you played friendlies behind doors all season long because people are thick because they don't watch football like that. This happens all season round. I remember when Chelsea under 21s beat their first team. I didn't see outrage there, did I? But yeah, man, I think we're all right, and I don't want to go too into it. Just go slot Eriksen in there, go play the way you do, and you'll win the game. I'm pretty sure, and I'm not overreacting to it. We'll be fine, and we will 100% get a signing in before the end of the window.
Do you know what? Though? Yeah. Go on, sorry, mate.
Go on. No, go on. Joe.
No, I was just going to come back to Cass because obviously I do think they will beat Forest at the weekend. I do. But you mentioned there, Ten Hag, your manager's going to switch things up on that. Is it not just out of necessity, though, because Mount's injured? I guess I'll throw it back to you in, like, when Mount comes back, then what? Bruno gets dropped? That's not going to happen. He's the captain. So what's he going to do? Ride the bench?
Yeah, standard. You know what it is?
He won't do that, though.
The thing is, yeah, he will, because what I tell people all the time this. What is 55 million in this day and age? It's nothing, right? It's nothing. So what if he rides the bench? You took the number 7 shirt. I'm pretty sure you're gonna say, yes, I want you as an important player, but you got to provide as well. You know, you have to earn your stripes at this club. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of questions, right? You now being out for 4 to 6 weeks, you will eventually get back into the team. But if the team's playing well, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm starting because I'm number 7 for Man United." No, you got to earn that spot back. And honestly, I think he gets used more on the wide, on the flanks, and that's the way he should be. And use a very effective utility player, and that's all I look at it towards. So
You
he
know,
needs
you
to
know,
look
like
for- and he needs to sort with Bruno. It's either him on the pitch or Bruno on the pitch for me. And Ten Hag's got to find his way. But if you're going to go get another centre mid, but then clearly it kind of shows you that you got it wrong in the first place, isn't it? Because you should have got a DM centre mid that can actually play that role properly. So this is on Ten Hag.
Yeah, listen, I agree with it. I think Ten Hag has actually made a couple errors in the first couple of games. I don't think I've been impressed by what he's done whatsoever. I don't think he's a terrible manager. I know LB's got his question marks to say, is he actually going to be good enough for this long term, this role? But actually, when you look at it, there has been some problems. But where I kind of understand your optimism, Kaz, we were here last year, look at what happened. You were there last year, but then you went and got the Casemiro in, and you went and got this. You've already kind of got that. You still need more. Don't get me wrong. You definitely, I mean, you need more than one player, in my opinion. You need probably 3 or 4 for looking at your squad. But you've kind of got the Onana in. You've got Mason Mount in. You've got Højlund in. You still need more. But it's for me, I would still worry that you've got that midfield, which looks to me as if it's kind of his now with Casemiro, Mount, and Bruno. It doesn't look very good defensively. I like Martinez and Varane as a partnership, but it hasn't looked great in the last couple. And you're still an injury away from Evans coming back in now, not Maguire or Lindelof, whoever it is. You just ain't good enough, are they? And then up top, Højlund and Martial. You're starting with Martial. You have to play Rashford there, who looks lost, completely lost. So I think there's a lot of problems, Kaz. I think there's a lot of problems, man.
I think it's easily judged when you're judging a situation when you ain't even seen this unknown entity of potential actually play and see if it affects the style as well when one of them clearly can't do the job. Again, I blame Ten Hag, but it doesn't mean I want him out like other fraggles in this world. But I look at it like this. You're using your most effective scorer who's left wing up top. I mean, you've been playing Sancho all preseason as a false nine. Why didn't you opt with that? So that's where I'll criticize it, as in you've gone back to kind of like, I think he's over 40 a little bit and it just didn't work. Right. And I think he expected more from someone like Garnacho and maybe Anthony. But Anthony's garbage. I want him out. Like, honestly, I want him gone. I've had enough of bigging up mediocrity and all this stuff. He's a terrible player and he's a terrible signing. And to be fair, I never wanted him. I wanted Elise last season. But the way I look at it, like, from all your questions about the defense will do it. Like, we still kept a clean sheet against Wolves at the end of the day. Yes, you got Onana. Yes, you got Mount. But I don't look at Mount as improving 11, but I look at it as him improving a squad. I look at Onana proving 11. We don't know about this striker yet, and I think it's unfair to judge it when you've pretty much got the exact same 11 on the pitch, pretty much, and a guy that's, what is it? It's just a squad player. Like, you have to keep it a buck a little bit, and I think we do need more, and we will get more, and I think we will go get another centre mid or /DM, whatever, that's a hybrid 8 in Amrabat. I think he's waiting. He's been left out of training now. I think there's some movement there. Something might happen this week or tomorrow or next week early. That's what my club does. They panic buy towards the end of the window. And when you want to even move up the pitch and play a bit of a higher line, you have to face a little bit of consequences because you've been playing a certain brand of football and all of a sudden you're playing high line football. It's integrating tactics all over again. And I think it will get better for Man United with the Kobbie Miners. I don't rely on him. I think he can definitely do a job that keeps it balanced at least. And we'll rotate with whoever we do get, whether it's Gravenberch or Amrabat. I think it's going to happen for sure. Now Brandon Williams is out. I think there's space in the squad to put another midfielder in there because we was expecting Fred to go out and we get another midfielder to replace. It hasn't happened yet because the squad's still bloated. Need to get all this Deadwood out. This is why I don't want to overreact a little bit. I know it will get better and I know it will look more balanced in time. But I still think we'll start picking up results. Even if we lose against Arsenal, that's fine. You're at the Emirates. You're against one of the best teams in the league. At least put in a performance. At least Mason Mount's out, so we can use and we can look at other perspective of it and see how it fares. Like maybe a higher line with Eriksen a bit higher up the pitch, a little bit more close to Casemiro. That's for him to work out. But it's easy to pick out a team and say how rubbish they are when you ain't even seen everything as of yet. Like Pochettino, look, we can go and look at everything Chelsea have bought But it's going to take a little bit of time because it's still new tactics and Tottenham. But say they're still missing a little bit of pieces there. Kai say that an awful one, but all of a sudden though, is he going to be crap? No, he's not. It's going to be wicked. You know, that's what I look at Man United. You're trying something new, didn't work, move on, change to the next part, and we'll be back. Because as I said, Potts, I said it last week, I always have the last laugh. Trust me, I come back for everyone. The only person that I failed on was Daps.
Well, then, mate, I hope you're laughing at. I hope you're laughing at Daps at the end. That means they ain't won the league. So let's see what happens.
Hey, look, I screwed up the thing, and it's kind of dirty now, whatever. But I'm on loan to Arsenal. You know, I signed it. I'm on loan to Arsenal this year. All right.
Yeah, you got us down as winning the league, right, Kaz? Is that right? Prediction
100% based off massive feeling, not logic.
Wow. Based off hope, not belief. LB. I mean, you've listened to what Kaz said. You listened to what Joe said. Man United, they're not ready to challenge now, are they? Even if they went and got a couple more signings.
No, but I don't think any United fans think they are. So, you know.
No, they do. Just speak to Cass. Cass does, man.
I never said we're going to be in for it.
No, they're not. They're not. I think the Forest game is going to be interesting, actually. I thought they played all right against Arsenal, and they did well against Sheffield United, although they look poor. Starting that a 1 year guy up top, he's fucking sick, mate. I don't know why they didn't start him against Arsenal. They got some power in the middle, so I think that's going to be an interesting game. But obviously, they've got three trickier games coming up after that. I think Cass is sort of right with what he's saying. I think, look, it's not a great start, but United will get better as the season goes on. That's no doubt. I do think there's a lot of pressure on Højlund to come in and score goals because he's going to completely change the way they play, and I think he's got to score goals. So I do think there's pressure on him. But listen, as long as they finish fifth and get in the Champions League next season, I think they can have another season, have another transfer window. I think this is just going to be another year where they just, I don't know. It's about just seeing some slight improvement from the United team. Slower than everyone probably would have wanted at United, but it is what it is. You know, this is what happens when you sign Mason Mount and shit like that.
I think they're lucky there's 5 in the Champions League.
I agree.
Because it'd be tough. It would be. I'm not saying they wouldn't, Cass, but it would be tough. Whereas with 5, I think you get in there. But it's, with 4, I'm not sure.
Whether it's 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, I actually don't care.
Yeah. No, I get it. I
want a trophy. I want an FA Cup this year, personally, and I want Champions League football. And then next year, we'll be asking new questions about the league and then see if you really got the bollocks and go and the know-how to go and win the league.
Yeah, that's
the one thing that I've said in it, Potts. The one thing that I've said is that like obviously when I say disappointed, obviously I'm a City fan, but like as a sort of like a person looking in, is we're still not seeing a proper brand of Ten Hag football, and I think that has to change this season. We have to get to, I would say, like the end of October. We have to start to see a style of play that Ten Hag wants to play. He can't just keep using, I don't have the players. Like, fucking hell, mate. How long do you want? Do you know what I mean?
A couple of them got injured, unfortunately. I mean,
but we still need to see a brand of football, though.
It's only pre-season, but I saw glimpses of it when we played this club up there. And that's what you look at the style of play through pre-season. We were playing amazing football until 2 individuals got injured. And that's it. And that's the difference in depth and quality of what you need to get that brand of style. So
that's what I've said. I've said Man United don't have depth, and I think that's been proven already. Like 2 games in, it looks depleted, and there's a lot of gaps there. If they fill them gaps, then we can have a different conversation. And I think that's like a lot of clubs. I think Liverpool are in that bracket as well. We've been crying out for a centre half and a defensive midfielder. They've got one. They need another now, and a centre back as well. And then we can start talking about where Liverpool can finish. So, you know, a lot of people have been pointing the finger at my club saying they haven't got strength in depth, But I'm not looking around and thinking that anyone else has other than Man City, if I'm honest with you. So that's why I want to come next. Like, LB, I know that you have said you don't think Arsenal will do it. You've said that you thought Liverpool would get more of a chance of being in your kind of title challenge in this season. And you've said because of the Champions League, you think we'll struggle. So let's ask you this. If we compete Champions League wise and we're looking like actually Arsenal are looking pretty good, do you still think we'll fall off again like last season because that's what you've seen? Or do you think that we could do it with a couple more signings and we might have a chance?
Well, yeah, obviously this is a hypothetical, right? Because obviously if you go and sign 3 players now that are all top quality at £50 million a pop, then obviously I might change my mind. But I don't think you'll fall off. I just don't think you'll be in a position to fall off at the end of the season. I'm not saying that you'll be a million miles away. I just think, again, I just repeat, FA Cup, got knocked out in the second round last year. Carabao Cup, you got knocked out in the first round. 7 out of your top 10 most played players by minutes in the Europa League will probably not even feature a single minute in your Champions League campaign this year. I just believe that the pressure is on Arteta to win a trophy. So the domestic cups he has to take more seriously, right? He basically threw the game at City. I'm not sure what team he played against Brighton in the Carabao Cup, but I imagine he probably played a slightly weakened team. He's not going to be able to do that this year, in my opinion, because I think the Arsenal fans are demanding trophies. And I actually think that Arsenal will get relatively far in the Champions League, whether that be the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, whatever. I think you'll get into at least the quarterfinals. And I just don't think you have the squad to go to compete for it. I don't think you've massively improved your overall squad. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think you'll be poor. I just think that you'll drop points here or there. And as you know, if you're going against a City team that's half decent, you can't drop points. That's the sort of. But Arsenal fans don't like me saying it, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, if you're going to go from a team that played 3 domestic cup matches last year and rested all your team in the Europa League, from a team that plays basically the strongest 11 in every single game going forward, I expect there to be a slightly negative impact. Now, hey, it might be wrong, but that's just my view, man.
Yeah, the thing is, you say Arsenal fans disagree with it, but actually, I don't know that many do.
They do, bro, because they always try fucking cook.
Oh, no, not all. I think you make it out as if Arsenal fans don't like. You're right, some don't. But some are actually with you. Some are with you, because I'm with you. I don't think Arsenal have done enough in the transfer window to go and win a title. That's just where I am at. I hope they completely and utterly surprise me and we go and do it. Of course I do. I actually agree with you. We definitely haven't got enough strength in depth to go on all 4 fronts. That's a fact. I mean, that is an absolute fact for me. There's no reason why we can't win a trophy. And he has to this season, in my opinion. He has to win a trophy. Otherwise, there's huge pressure on him. Yet again, to finish trophyless is crazy. For me, I think we're still at least 2 players short, maybe even 3. The Timber injury does not help. It means that we've only strengthened in the position of Declan Rice this season. And of course, we can talk about David Raya.
Have you? Because now this is where I have to start questioning. I had this question. Have Arsenal really actually strengthened, during this summer? And question is, only by a touch. And I think, like Fabio Vieira's crap, so Havertz is better than him instantly for me anyways. The eyelash, you blow him, he goes over, he falls off into the stands or something like that. No good anyways. He's not going to play as much, right? And I look at Arsenal and Declan Rice is getting used as a DM, not the centre mid. So technically, he's not the Xhaka replacement. He's filling in Partey's place. And this is where I feel like you're trying to do this Stones thing, invert him instead of Zinni. I know it's different, but you've got Gabriel because you don't like the look of him out wide, potentially. It's not because of the Saudi stuff, because he's not going nowhere. So you've inverted Partey next to Rice, and hopefully you get Ødegaard and and Havertz to do the attacking job for you. And it doesn't look good right now. It might look good in the future. Do you look defensively more solid? I think so. But do you look great going attack and as electric as I've seen Arsenal? No. You can't sit here as an Arsenal fan or anyone in the chat. And this is not me being harsh on you. I'm just trying to break it down a little bit more. You can't sit here and say the Palace away last year compared to this year is anything different, because it was way different. You blew Palace away. They had Zaha, they had Elise, they had their full team. This year, they didn't. And you only won 1-0, and it was all if, buts, and maybes. And this is why I say you can say 6 points, but I have to analyze the performance. I think trying to shoehorn Havertz is just not looking good. Havertz is not an Arsenal first 11 team player. He's not improved your first team. He's improved your squad, I think, and I'll give him that. He's doing an okay job. But is an okay job good enough for Arsenal Football Club? I don't think so. I think you need to go back to what you do, best. I think against the best teams in the league, playing the way you did against Palace will be very hard to break Arsenal down. And I think that's okay. And that's a new tactic by Arteta. Just copy and Pep again, isn't he? Then go back to when you got Jesus false 9, because he's back now. You're fine. Ben White. I think you need to go get a right back / centre back to cover. And there's always talk about the Leipzig dude. And whatnot, and Fresneda. I think everyone knows the best midfield is Partey, Rice, and Ødegaard. Not Rice, Havertz, and Ødegaard. I haven't seen the best from Ødegaard yet. this new way seems to be affecting him a little bit. I think he doesn't have as much freedom as he thought he might have. So that's what I mean. Havertz should be able to play and come off the bench, but trying to force his way to play through tactics, I just don't think it's it. But he's not. That's not Havertz's fault because he ain't actually put in a bad performance yet. But it's not a great performance by Arsenal standards. This is what I say about Mason Mount and Anthony. Mason Mount actually played all right against Tottenham. He's not to blame for Tottenham. Ten Hag was, and a lot of the players were for not doing their jobs correctly because for 35, 40 minutes of the game, they were fine. But to think you're trying to make him play just because he was the first signing is not going to make you succeed if you want to, in your case, win in the league. And that's what I think it is. I think you need to go back to being that electric Arsenal that, put fear into teams when Saliba was in and he was injury free, So, and you got to get Gabriel back into that line because as much as you want to say he's defensively solid, if Palace had that decent level striker to put something in the back of the net, you would have drew that game, mate. And there's no denying it. And then,
it's been unconvincing, and I said that.
It's and then Ketis should have buried one of them chances as well. You should have been relying on a penalty.
Absolute facts. And do you know what? It's mad, Joe, because Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko are both back now. Jesus is in training today. Doesn't mean I don't think he's going to be ready to start, but he's obviously back training. Zinchenko come on, so that means he's fit. This is where we're going to find out over the coming 2 games against Fulham and United whether Kai Havertz is being shoehorned in or they're playing this system because Jesus and Zinchenko are out. And I think that Mikel Arteta could be, and I don't know this for a fact, no one does, we're all guessing at the moment, it's 2 games in. I think last season, Mikel Arteta looked at our squad and went, right, we play this way. When we have injuries to these 2 players, we can't play that way again because we lost the league. So we have to now change something. So now these 2 players are still out. Jesus Zinchenko, we've got a couple of other knocks as well, obviously to Timber as well now. He's thinking, I'm going to have to try and do something different. And this is what my mind, where I've come to a way of thinking now. Why are we playing this system? I'll be shocked if we continue to play this 30 for 38 games. Absolutely stunned if this happens. If we do, that means that Kaz is right and he is shoehorning a £65 million player for no reason into the team. And that will cost us. That could even be more damaging than missing out on a title for me. That if you're trying to get this guy, just please be good, no need to do it. There should be competition for places, and if Havertz isn't doing it, he comes out. If Eddie isn't doing it, he comes out, because there are players there now like Smith Rowe and Trossard that could come and do it. Now I happen to think that Eddie and Havertz aren't really the people to blame at the moment at all. I think both of them actually been all right in the past 2 games. So where are you at with this this situation, Joe?
No, I think Jesus is a massive loss because if I remember rightly, like watching Arsenal at the start of the season last season, that guy was different gravy. He looked unreal in the early parts of the season. So that obviously offers something different to what Eddie gives you. And I agree with what Cass was saying in terms of Eddie should have buried a few of them chances. But I think it's Tony Bloom, not the Tony Bloom, but keeps mentioning it. He thinks it's due to the trying to accommodate the loss of Zinchenko. So I guess it is just waiting to see whether
when he comes in, Joe, we're not going to play party inverted at right back.
No, that's what I'm saying. So it's going to be him on that side, isn't it? Yeah. And then that comes back to what Cass was saying about the best midfield 3.
Yes.
Of Party.
We're wearing the same jumper. Hey.
Big up, bro. Big up.
But yeah, it then enables you to get them 3 in the midfield, doesn't it? Which Cass was saying about Party, Odegaard, and Rice. Then,
which everyone wants to see as a Gunnar. Honestly, that midfield trio does sound exciting. But yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think we've. And
I disagreed with Cass when he was saying about it as it improved, like it has, because Rice. I know they're not playing in similar positions now, but Rice is levels above Xhaka. Rice for me is unreal. I love him, man.
I think Rice went so under the radar last game that he didn't get enough praise the way he should since he's been like even from myself. Like what's he done? He needs to. He was such a pivotal guy in that Palace game. And I think he's the one that kept Eze to shut up and go wide and go deal with Party instead. And I think Havertz done a good job defensively, but if that's what goes and wins you games a bit ugly sometimes, then that's Arsenal and that's what they should be doing. And then I'll sit here saying, you know what, I was wrong. Arteta obviously knows what he's doing, more time or less. Dropping Zinni, but then I look at Gabriel and I think he don't deserve to be dropped just because he had a bit of a mare in pre-season trying to do the out wide job or maybe even centrally. I think he does need to play just because I think he adds a little bit more. He's a bit more solid. And he might actually free Rice to go up further and play as a hybrid a little bit more. But it's again, I don't want to overreact on Arsenal. I think you're going to become, but your performance is going to get better, and you're going to go slaughter some teams. And I know you are, and one of them might even be my team in next week. So
I don't know, man. We'll see. We never slaughter Man
I
United.
still feel overreacting because I feel like so far, I know you've only conceded one goal. It didn't look that pretty towards the end against Forest. You got a away game against Palace, who are up for it, Roy Hodgson and everything, blah, blah, blah. And this week you've got
Easy game, Fulham, man. Fulham, I think.
Fulham. Come on,
Fulham at the weekend.
I am rooting for you. I need my FPL stunk because of my belief in Saka and Martinelli. I need 2 goals and 2 assists from each of them.
But bro,
Yeah,
this
so do I.
weekend, yeah,
So do I.
this weekend, Man United have Forest, City have Sheffield United, Arsenal have Fulham, and Chelsea have Luton. So FPL is going to be mad this weekend. Trust me.
Liverpool have got Newcastle at St James's
Oh,
Park.
that's tough.
It's going to be beautiful. Trent, I need an assist, and Gakpo, I need a goal. But Isaac, I need about 5 goals. I need 5 goals.
Isaac. I need
Captain.
Alexander Isak. I need some goals, man. Let me tell you that. Let's touch quickly before we come to the last part about the other teams in and around, just to see what your thoughts are on the likes of Liverpool, Newcastle, and we'll touch Chelsea as well. To be fair, LB, I know that you had Newcastle. You said you were quite disappointed. You've touched on Liverpool as well in terms of the lack of their midfield and how they can't defend. And Chelsea, I can't lie, I just think they're just not going to be in and around going for. A lot of people are saying, oh, they've spent loads of money, they need to be up there, they need to be challenging, blah blah blah. I just don't think they're anywhere near ready, mate. They're the youngest team in the league. They're being put together now by Raw. Although they spent a lot of money, Champions League and go for a cup for me. I don't think they're going for a title. What's your thoughts on those 3, man? Liverpool, Chelsea, and Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea for me should just aim for 5th. They should do everything possible to get 5th. I don't think that's out of the realms. I don't think that's out of the realms of possibility. I think they could potentially do it. But yeah, I think it's going to take time. Yeah, Liverpool. They still desperately need a DM. They need a player who can play in that DM position, who allows McAllister, Zobo, and then the rest of the front 3 just to go forward and do their bit, on cover. They need like a prime Fernandinho, a prime Kante, someone like that who can just run around and let them do it. And that's why Caicedo would have been perfect for them. It looks like they're struggling. It looks like they're struggling to identify that guy now that obviously Caicedo and Lavia have both gone. So, listen, I still think Liverpool's front 3, whoever they play, is so powerful and scary that they will finish in the top 4. And then on Newcastle, listen, Newcastle fans didn't like what I said on the show the other day, but it came from a position of respect. What I'm saying is their midfield 3 of Bruno, Tonali, and Joe Linton is one of the best midfield 3s in the division. And I thought they were extremely poor at the Etihad. Now, they come back and was like, oh, you're the best team in the world and all that. You're missing the point. I'm not slating you for slating's sake or anything. I'm just saying, from my view, that is one of the best midfield 3s in the division, and they all froze. You know what I'm saying? Like it's coming from a respectful position, not a murk position. So look, I was a bit disappointed with Newcastle.
Can I give you a stat?
Stat me, bro.
Can I give you a stat? Liverpool haven't lost to Newcastle since 2015 December.
Oh, they're there to be broken, man. They're to be broken.
No, but they hadn't won at the Etihad in the league, and look how that went for them. So
yeah. I think relevance to how good you play at stadiums is a thing, is an actual thing. Like Man United going to Stamford Bridge, rarely win. Go to Liverpool, rarely win, mate.
We had like a 20-year record at Anfield where we never won.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Records are there, but it's still in the heritage of the club, because you can't go into your press conference you can't go into your player conference and say, we've been here before, we won, we always roll them over. Same job, this, that, and the other. Just go again and do whatever. This time's like players will definitely know stats about where they go and how good they perform. Liverpool should be going to. I think Liverpool got a point to prove, and I think it might be a boring game or a high scoring game. Either or. I hope Newcastle roll them over, but history tells me they don't.
I think Liverpool, are going to be involved in some sick games this year, mate, because their attack is so class, but their midfield and defense is just dead. So,
if you go anything, don't you think if we go anything of what we saw against Chelsea and how Newcastle actually do perform at home on paper, you should think Liverpool might struggle. They could,
What?
in theory, because we like to react on the first 2 games and think it's going to be the whole season, right? So let's play that game. In theory, Newcastle should batter them. Coming off a loss as well, they want to bounce back.
I think it's going to be
I
an
hope,
interesting
I hope
game, man.
Newcastle do. I hope Newcastle win. To be honest, I like what they're doing, man. I really do. I can't lie. And I know I said to you as harsh LB by saying that there was a point to prove and you missed opportunities, stuff like that. But I actually like what they're doing, and I think it's an incredibly hard place to
Same,
go.
bro. No, and I agree, bro. But all I'm saying is, I expected more from Newcastle because how good I think they are. You know what I mean? And some people didn't really get that. But listen, I think if Newcastle, obviously, I want Newcastle to beat Liverpool because I still see Liverpool as a title contender at the moment. So I'm rooting for Newcastle. And it's going to be a class game. It's going to be a mint, mate. And obviously, Newcastle put 5 past Villa at St James's 2 weeks ago. So I think we could be in for a high-scoring game, hopefully.
I do. I can see a high-scoring one as well, to be fair. I don't want to disrespect any Brighton fans in the chat, so I do want to touch on them and say they look absolutely mint and sick. I don't think they're title contenders, but I do want to big them up because I think what that club is doing is just phenomenal.
Could
Joe,
they get Champions League? Could they
That's
get
what I was
Champions
gonna
League?
ask you.
people?
What could Brighton do? I think they could, I'm not even lying when I say this. I think Brighton could actually push for top 5.
You don't think they could get 5th?
No. You know what? They're in Europa, right? When Europa gets going, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have their eyes set on the prize, right?
Yeah.
We'll see how they fare in Europe, and we'll see how much their squad can really go. I go off facts, like Newcastle as well. When Newcastle started playing a couple games a week, with the cups coming thick and fast since they were progressing through the Carabao Cup, I saw a major drop-off. Bruno Guimaraes got injured, a major drop-off after that, right? Now I'm going to have to put the same respect in this season. I think Newcastle, they got a few good additions, and especially Lewis Hall, Livramento, Harvey Barnes. I think they've recruited very well. I actually quite like it now. I've ate my words a little bit about Harvey Barnes, but I think they've got a little bit more edge to keep going to push for Champions League place as well. Look at Brighton, and I know it's not Caicedo. You put anyone in that system, they thrive. But now they're going to get a little bit of a taste of playing Thursday, Sunday. This is what I keep saying about to Liverpool. You're going to also be playing Thursday, Sundays. Have you really recruited to keep up, especially in the league? Especially when you've got your eyes on a prize. And Cisso's out for a long time now. I look at stuff like this, and it's unfortunate what happened because Cisso's a wicked little player, but it's another injury for him. So I look at it like this. This all catches up in the end. Playing a Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Monday is different from a Thursday and a Sunday, or sometimes a Monday. But you don't really play on a Monday because Thursday is too close to Monday. So that's what I keep saying. Serbi's quality. I think Brighton will get Europa League again. They'll be high up in the league and they'll be tough to beat. My club will probably struggle against them, and that's that. But I think during the season you'll see a bit of a drop off. So even with Man United, like if you don't get the quality of player, you're not going to sustain it in a Champions League. You probably get knocked out early, which means we do a little bit better in the league anyways. So unless you can use this logic upon anyone, but when you're not primed into doing it, like Arsenal playing in a competition, Man City going on all 4 fronts, even Liverpool, they'll have a bit more fair because they got the know-how to do it already, right?
Well, just look at West Ham, innit? West Ham last season.
Yeah, this is exactly West Ham. The evidence on West Ham. Come on, it's all there. And I
don't think they'll be a million miles away, though, Cass.
No. I never said they're going to be 10th, and I never said they're not going to finish major points off. But you'll start seeing decline in performances because it's hard to keep going when you want to play your best players every week, and when you don't have the full squad to do it, you have to rely on garbage like your Maguires and stuff. We saw it with Man United last year, Europa League. Man United are always involved in the European competition, but it caught up in the end. More injuries, and obviously fitness. And then you have to rely on quality, and then you get spanked by Sevilla at their gaff.
Does anyone 2 games in believe they've really messed up with their predictions of their top 7 or whatever? Does anyone go, wow, what was I thinking? I'm changing that.
The only one for me is I think I done Newcastle a little bit too low. I think I had them 6th. And from what I'm seeing, even though I've just said I didn't think they were particularly great against City, I think they'll come top 4 comfortably.
I had them above Liverpool now. I have them in my one. I think I'd put them above Liverpool. I looked at that Bournemouth performance, and yes, they got Endo, but he's not a DM. He's a centre mid. That can play a 6 role. Until they get me a DM, even Man United, to be fair, until Man United get a proper centre mid going, And if they want to continue the style, then I can't lie. That's a howler from me at the moment. So we'll see.
Liverpool's such a weird one, though, isn't it? Because Cass, if they get one sick DM in there, I think it changes.
That's all I'm saying. I know
It
people
changes
don't
the
rate
whole
the
team.
core rate. I can't believe people don't rate the core rate. And I was talking to him with Flawless on the last show, and he says no,
I
he's
do.
never.
I think he's quality,
I
man. I
think
think
he's exactly what they need: centre back and DM as well. And I think he's the profile that they need: a destroyer, a bit of muscle, some height in there. And guess what? Szoboszlai can go do, and McAllister just to help out as well, because we ain't actually seen McAllister in his 8 position yet. I think that it provides a lot for them, and I think Trent will definitely benefit from it. I really like the core rate. Yes, he's not worth 80 million, but guess what? We've seen some weird things in this window. What is 70, 80 million now? You know, the rumor is he's going to be about 70 million if they do want to prize him away. I just don't get Liverpool. If I'm a Liverpool fan, I am screaming. This ownership for them is horrible. It's like us. The difference in Man United, we generate a lot of money compared to Liverpool. You know, and we spend our own money. FSG don't. Yes, they put in a little bit of their own, but they don't spend enough because they're too focused on getting Plan A rather than Plan C. You don't see Pep complaining about that. They didn't get Plan A. They didn't get Plan B. They're going for C and D. But guess what? That's what good scouting does. That's what I don't get. I think it's a bit naive from.
Yeah, I'm not going to change my prediction. I'm not going to. I had City to win it, Arsenal second, Liverpool third, and I had Newcastle fourth. I had United fifth. I think I went for Chelsea sixth actually, and then I had Villa, Brighton, and Tottenham finishing outside after them. I'm not going to go too wild there. I don't think there's anyone. Maybe Brighton are the ones that I've maybe dipped out, but I don't think anything else is too wild, if I'm honest. And I'm not going to go and change it 2 games in. The reports that I think, Joe, you sent it from Transfer News Live saying that Salah has reportedly said yes to Al Ittihad, and Benzema was the key to convincing the Egyptian to join. The Saudi club and Liverpool are currently negotiating, and the Reds want him to stay.
Ornstein's just said as well the Reds are going to reject any approach. How much do you think is an offer they can't refuse with 2 years left?
What is he? 31. It's 31.
Because they will pay, won't they?
They will pay. Million, maybe 200 million.
More, man,
crazy
I reckon 150, man.
What's this for?
Salah, like if they made him an offer, they couldn't refuse.
I wouldn't sell him for anything less than 150 personally.
No, exactly. I would say
not when Rice and that.
120. I think 120 million would be okay for guys' age. But the thing is, you could be.
What was Neymar? What was Neymar in the end?
I don't know. 50.
It'll be about that price. Be about that one.
I think 125 million or something I'll probably say yes to it. But if I was a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't trust the board to go and get an adequate enough replacement. They would say,
yeah, exactly. How'd you go and get 20 goals?
Ben Dawes and Harvey Elliott is good enough. We believe in them. and you're like, where's the other 100? You just spent 15. Where's the other 100 million that you said that you had for a DM? I don't see it. Where is it? We yet to see it at the moment of time. I ain't even seen a bid go in for anyone. You see City, you know, they don't want Pakatano. And guess what? Nunes still will be wrapped up by tomorrow. They'll probably announce Doku today or tomorrow, and then Nunes by Monday or Saturday. You know, probably after their game, more than likely. That's the way I see it. This difference. They need Michael Edwards back, mate. Klopp's got to stop thinking he's the dog's bollocks, because you're not anymore. I think he's going to
Klopp needs to take some blame for this, man. I know a lot of people are blaming the ownership.
Yeah, he needs to take time off.
You know what stresses me out? Yeah, it's like people will go, "Oh, getting 120, 130 million for Salah when he's 31 is a great price." The guy got 46 G&A last year.
Yeah,
it's the same thing when we sold Mahrez for 25 million pound, and people said it's a great price, 32 years old, 25 million. I said, all right, and go and replace 20 G&A a season, every single season for 25 million. You can't do it, man. People need to stop talking about age and great price and think you actually need to get a player which improves your team, man.
The difference is, though, it don't matter who you want to see in world football. There's no one good enough currently right now to go replace a Mahrez or a Salah.
Which is why I was reluctant, Cass, to sell Mahrez. I didn't want to sell Mahrez. I said it was.
Mahrez is so
this is Salah's last season. They're not going to get as much money as they offered now. They got to look at Virgil van Dijk's. No, he's coming towards his last legs. They need another centre back on top of that. Alisson's fine. He's wicked anyways. Robertson, he's there, but he shouldn't be question marks. Let's see what his season is. Might be on his last legs a little bit as well. You know, the rumours that Madrid might want him as well. On top of that, I'm just thinking Shimikas is not there. They got a lot of questions
you think
over
it's the
that
end of an
team.
era then, Cash? You just mentioned FFP and that lack
All
of
right.
spending, and you just mentioned Van Dijk,
How-
Salah, obviously.
How shit are Man United? Like, be honest, how shit are Man United overall in the last decade? How shit are they? Ground zero, right?
Yeah,
What?
man.
So in the last 3
Ooh.
years, why have Man United finished above Liverpool in 2 out of 3 seasons?
That's
Is
wild.
it not? That's wild, isn't it? End of an era, and that is it. I said it on the live channel, and I'll say it on the channel before, and I'll say it on this one. This is nothing new to Liverpool. They were great, then they go crap. Then they're good again all of a sudden, then they go crap. They just come around the block again. They came amazing, and this probably their best ever team in Premier League history. But they're going back to crap again because they don't know how to set up to rebuild properly. And if that's Klopp's fault, probably not. Can't really say Klopp can't rebuild. That's down to your board as well. You can't not sit there and tell me you got great owners because you don't. And if they got any FSG inners, you're a spaz, mate. I can't lie. You're thick as shit. Because they're not. They've done their job. They got their money. They're going to sell out eventually. And guess what? We're laughing now, but they'll get bought out by some mega rich owners sooner or later. Probably a Saudi. Probably maybe Qatar. You know, and it's going to be cheap. And they'll make their money. And because guess what? How much they buy the club for? 500 million. 500 million was it?
Not sure.
They're going to
Not
make
sure.
about 4-5 billion on that club, and they're going to have the last laugh. You know, Liverpool fans will not take crap for long. They'll protest properly, and they'll get their owners out. I think.
Well, we'll see, man. We'll see. It's not looking good. A lot of people are saying, it'll be fine. Liverpool won't sell him. But what would it take? Because they're going to stump it down. They're not short of cash. Let me say that. It's mad. I do agree. Replacing Salah, I don't think even 150 million does that. I don't know who's out there for that much money that comes in realistically at that time. So they can't sell him, man. It'd be absolutely crazy. But we'll see what happens. Boys, been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure, guys, you do us all a favor. Go over to Just Joe. Make sure you are following all of his content. Go to It's LB, who is doing literally daily stuff at the moment on all things Manchester City. Make sure you do that as well. And head over to Kaz for Never a Foul, who's on every afternoon and every evening as well. And is absolutely flying up towards 20K now, I feel. So make sure you go and support all of this content that these guys are doing because it's absolutely sick. And if you do fancy a bet at the weekend, make sure you do me a favor and go and follow Bread and Honey Bets. If you do want to go and check them out and you fancy doing, these guys have won me a little bit of dollar, I can't lie. So make sure you go and follow the Patreon. There's a link in the description, and go and follow that. If you like a bet, make sure you do that. Take it easy, guys. See you next time.
Yes, people, listen up. Do you want an easy way to make money? Check out Bread and Honey Bets now. With an incredible win ratio, do not miss this chance. This is highly recommended by myself after a very successful win ratio. With betting tips from professionals on your favourite sports such as boxing, MMA, Formula One and football. Check it out for yourself for only £10 a month with guaranteed return on investment. Check out Bread and Honey Bets now on the Patreon or follow the link in the description. Check it out, people.